Is it getting colder or is it just me? I'm not liking it. I get less sun. It's colder this time of year. It's whatever though. You know, it's kind of whatever. You get to change up the fashion, I guess, a little bit and dress a little warmer. But we were right. We're not here to talk about climate change. We were right. That's not Vegapunk. And what's funny enough is I'm also watching the anime right now because I've only really been a reader. So this is my first time really going through the anime, and I just got to a point with Vegapunk at the end of Enies lobby, and they're talking about Kobe says he and him. And I was like, yeah, I'm pretty sure they did mention that it was a guy. So technically it is, but we're going to get more into that, but that's very interesting. What Vegapunk is doing with the satellites that he has, with his pieces of consciousness, his moving around. And I was trying to explain it last time, but it is kind of weird to explain how he's able to like move his consciousness around into other bodies in order to be more productive. But I'm assuming we're going to get more into that. The arc is starting. I mean, this is kind of what it is. I don't think it's going to be super long. But I think it's going to happen super quickly. And I'm the second time reading it through, I'm actually scared. Please don't ruin the best one of, it's tough to say the best, one of top 3 for sure, the best villains in One Piece history with just getting him clowned on. But I don't see how this is gonna shape out basically any other way. I'm not sure, but Lucci and Kaku and Stussy are on the way, which is super interesting. But what's debatably even more interesting is the cover page. Now, I said last time that I thought they were done with Germa's cover pages, but not quite. Why is the entire place frozen? Now, at first, my first inclination was, okay, you know, Queen had the Excite bullets that were freezing people, you know, and it was kind of like taking them over like that. But what I find interesting is it's not just the people, but it's the entire land. Now, I hope that that's the case, and I think that's a simple way to go about it. But who's to say this isn't Aokiji? Who's to say? I mean, I have no idea. This would be the perfect time with the information that they have for Blackbeard slash Aokiji to kind of take over Big Mom's territory and just kind of start dominating that. I can't say it for sure. In fact, I would say that it's not, just because it's like too crazy. And please don't give me a cover page the next time I see Aokiji. I mean, I'll take it, but like I want to see him like actually moving and doing his thing, because I believe Aokiji is going to turn out to be one of my favorite characters. That being said, who's to say that's even what's happening here? The Straw Hats that are on the ship are all captured, right? They're all in danger. But I'm like, wait a minute, and I'm glad they brought this up. It's like, dude, do you know who's on that ship? Do you know the capabilities just on that ship alone? Like, I don't think this little Vegapunk's going to do much. That being said, Vegapunk is a very strong character, kind of tough to like put on a power scaling scale at this point, just because we're not entirely sure of all the abilities this person has. They're split up into 6 people. I'm not sure, but they're able to weaponize Sea Kings, mechanical weaponized sea beasts, which is pretty insane. Frankie is an absolute awe, which I'm loving. I think this is going to be like a short little arc that Frankie's going to get some technology boosts from and be able to share kind of some knowledge with Vegapunk. Now, it is a little confusing. Is Vegapunk still a person? Is it somebody like who's just like pulling the strings in the back, who's like unable to move, and maybe it is literally just he was able to move his consciousness around? How old is Vegapunk? There's a lot of questions even still now that we've seen Vegapunk, or a couple instances of Vegapunk. But it looks like Shaka might be like the main body, or maybe like his main body. I don't know, because from that thing it says no, it's not, because he's split up. But it could be the original body, and then he split up the other 5 pieces of consciousness throughout. But the evil one, Lilith, who we finally get a name for, is like, I finally caught them. And Shaka's like, dude, chill. Who's Logic? So it's the smart one who's like really trying to put everything into perspective. He's like, Zoro's just looking at you with his hand on his sword, and you're screwed. Like, don't do anything stupid here. Like, you're gonna be dumb. The only other person that's mentioned is Nico Robin, which I find interesting, but not surprising at all, considering Vegapunk is the all-knowing, as far as we know, right? I don't think there's any knowledge that he's not knowing, alluded to. Like, Vegapunk has to know just about everything that we know to this point, at least. Like I said, I was watching the anime. He was the one who discovered how to feed inanimate objects devil fruits. And I think that that's going to start to play more of a role, especially once we get to like Warfare on Mary Joie. I'm assuming they're going to have some crazy weapons that have these devil fruits, but we'll see. Another very interesting thing is even though Frankie's very interested in like Vegapunk, like, hey, Zoro's like, hey, Vegapunk, there's something I want to talk to you about. What do I think this is? I think it might be, hey man, like, how do I make black blades? Is it Kings? Like, what all do you know about like the swords and stuff like that? I think that's it, but I'm not entirely sure what it is. I don't know if there's knowledge that Zoro wants, but it's interesting. I mean, anything Zoro at this point, just knowing that we're coming to the culmination of everything is very interesting. Maybe he's interested in his connections with death and like, hey, like it feels like I've died. And what Vegapunk or Shaka has to tell him, I don't know. Shaka is number 1, so I'm assuming that's the main body and they all make up Vegapunk, but I don't think there's somebody like a head to it. But I think Shaka is going to be the closest thing to that head, which is why he's wearing a helmet, and I think that he's going to be pretty elderly. Another huge revelation that we have come to is many people theorize that Bonnie and Kuma were close in some way, but that has been confirmed to be her dad. Now, what's interesting about that is people were talking about, hey, Jewelry Bonnie, how old could she really be? She could be super old. And that's true, but we don't know how old Kuma is. And Kuma's not really immortal, but he was made into a robot, so how old is Kuma really? But I think we can say that she's not crazy old. She's no Toki of any sort. She's somebody who is kind of newer to all of this. So that's somewhat confirmed. Can't confirm it for sure 100%. But then we get, I hate to say wasted pages, because we're starting a new arc, so we have to be excited about everything going on, but kind of a wasted part. I mean, Luffy and all of them are joking around, having a good time. They hit it up with the holograms and all this stuff, and then they straight up throw up Spy Kids vibes through everything, not only with the hologram stuff, but like the automatic food maker. The Spy Kids vibes are crazy. If you know that, please tell me you know that, because Spy Kids 1, they do that same shit, and I love seeing like food just be made like that. Like click a button and boom, there's food. We meet the number 6, the second version of Vegapunk, and I think what the biggest thing with these people of consciousness of Vegapunk is he was basically able to create life. And even though they hold a piece of him, they're still their own person. I think that's something that we're going to get to see, that they're not all just Vegapunk. Like, these people are their own people, which is why you see Shaka arguing with Lilith and stuff, which is debatably like his best invention, just being able to create artificial life. This dude's already crazy. I mean, just from what we've seen already, it's insane, and he doesn't even seem impressed with anything that he's doing as of yet. So yeah, so we move further in this. We find out about Atlas. The names for all of them are also very clever, and there's something at the end of the chapter that kind of alludes to everything that has to do with that. Bonnie's like, you're a liar, you're not Dr. Vegapunk, but they all think they're Dr. Vegapunk. But at the same time, like I said, they're all different. They're all like their own person to a point. At the end of the day, I mean, they all stem from Dr. Vegapunk, but it seems like they've kind of gone off a little bit on their own and been their own person because of the traits that they get. There's like flair, I literally have them all right here. Logic, evil, flair, wisdom, wrath, and desire, which is very interesting. Very interesting 6 traits there. Like I said, I also love the names, but it'll be interesting to see these people. But more interesting than that, who's talking about these 6 people? None other than CP0 themselves, Rob Lucci. I'm scared. I'm scared. I mean, Kaku and Stussy are there too, but it's all about Rob Lucci. It's all about Rob Lucci. Very interesting side of Rob Lucci. A very interesting side of the man himself. I just finished Enies Lobby. That dude was a dude. That dude was a silent killer, man. He was down. He was about it. He was about the action from the get-go. If you don't think that they've awakened their devil fruits at this point, you're crazy. And if I'm crazy for thinking that, and they have not awakened their devil fruits, I'm going to be very disappointed. Very disappointed. But what's interesting is I look at these 4 people, and I say 4 because it looks like they're carrying back a pacifista. Definitely one of the new ones. It has the wings, and it looks like a younger version of Kuma. So I believe this is like the newer ones, and it's called a problem child. So Vegapunk definitely created these, and they're returning it and also taking out all 6 of the Vegapunks, and that's kind of the mission. Now, there's a lot of interesting shit to talk about with that. A lot. So the government's done with Vegapunk. They're happy. Now, why would they be done with Vegapunk? Because they're done. The Great Cleansing is about to take place. Soon. I don't know how soon. It could be a year. Could be right now. But it's taking place. And they're just trying to clean house. They have to. They have to clean house because it's time. And it looks like they're going to start with that guy. Now, with the Straw Hats being there, I have to think that they just dominate. That they just dominate this fight. That they beat up Rob Lucci, Stussy, and Kaku, who we have no idea really how to put on the power scale. Like they've fought them before, but like I said, their fruits are probably awakened to this point. They're bringing out these pacifistas. They made sure to show us just how dangerous these new versions of the I keep calling them pacifistas. What's the new name? The Lunafistas is what I'm calling them. The Lunafistas. So these Lunafistas are like a big problem with their wings and everything. But why are they taking out Dr. Vegapunk? They're done with him. They're done with the smartest man in the world, the most useful man. Rob Lucci calls him the most useful man. I'm like, Rob, you shouldn't be giving a shit about nothing. I've seen you before. You don't care. He doesn't care. He's like, I'm just here to whoop some ass. That's why they pay me the big bills. And you gotta love him. I love him. I don't know how the matchup's gonna look. I don't think it's gonna be a straight fight. I don't think it can be. I don't think it can be. I think we're all sleeping on Vegapunk. I think the abilities that character has as a whole is problematic as hell. But it's kind of like a sneak up, sneak attack. I think the Straw Hats are going to be handicapped in a way. I'm just not entirely sure how that's going to look. But I think the biggest thing is because of the Great Cleansing and because the government and the world nobles are turning against Dr. Vegapunk. Do you know what that means? When the Straw Hats eventually almost guaranteed at least some of the Vegapunks, maybe they get away with killing some of them, but they're definitely going to save a few, if not the main body, and so on. But once they do save them, instead of being on the government side, Vegapunk is going to switch over to the resistance side and be able to assist in what I believe to be the final battle that's going to culminate to all of this, which is going to be very interesting. Having Vegapunk on your side is going to be huge. Them thinking that they're going to kill Vegapunk with the Straw Hats there, you're crazy. You're crazy. It's just not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Like I said, I think they're going to be handicapped just because the Lunafistas are broken, but the Straw Hat crew right now is like... These four dudes, they just don't have it. Vegapunk might be able to, like, hurt them and handicap them in the way, and then, like, oh, Vegapunk's on the back foot now, and they're going to have to do something. But I think this is going to happen fast. I'm not entirely sure what it's going to look like, but it's going to be interesting. Does Rob Lucci go out here? That's why I'm scared. I'm like, Rob, please. Hey, if he loses to Vegapunk, I'm upset. If he gets his ass beat by Luffy, which he should, I'm upset. I don't know. But this, at the same time, it's a great time to use this because they've kind of been shoving Rob in our face a couple times, and they're like, guess who's back? And now he's back, and now he's coming, and now he's like a looming threat. So I don't know. I just hope that they don't snuff him out, because if they do, it's just going to be sad. But we trust in Oda. Let me know what you think of this chapter. I thought it was solid. We're starting this new arc off on a great foot, but my God, Oda won't slow down. Even in this new arc, he's like, well, guess what? Aokiji, possibly. I'm just going to tickle your balls with that one. And I'm like, Oda, jeez. But that's all I got. You guys have a great weekend. Peace out, babes. Mwah.